The air crackled with unspoken tension as the words, "Taking care of things is a hassle," hung heavy in the air. A click echoed in the otherwise silent room, sending shivers down my spine. "Steve? Steve? Are you there?" My voice wavered with a rising panic. No answer, just an unnerving silence that amplified my fear. "Steve, please." Suddenly, my inexperience with the wheelchair betrayed me. A clumsy maneuver and epic AKM. I lay sprawled on the floor, pain throbbing in a symphony of ow. Frustration bubbled up. Stuck here, alone, voiceless. Tears welled up, threatening to spill over. But just as despair threatened to claim me, a turn of events. 3 days later, a glimmer of hope flickered on the screen. A TV special about a certain store. Intrigued, I reached for the remote, only to be startled by the sound of a forceful door opening. A voice, the one I could least stand, echoed through the room. "Jessica Brown here, a 32-year-old corporate warrior by day and a dreamer by night. My dream, ever since I was a wide-eyed kid glued to the TV, has been a burning desire. I chased it with every late night and early morning, diligently squirreling away pennies towards that goal. Work hard, but don't push yourself too much," Steve, my ever-supportive husband, would say. He'd a junior at my company, where our mentor-mentee relationship blossomed into something more, was captivated by my drive. Steve, seeing the fire in my eyes when I talked about my dream, became my biggest cheerleader. It wasn't long before we were dating, and a few years later, walking down the aisle, both working towards financial security and that shared dream. But this dream wasn't a solo mission. Text messages pinged back and forth between me and my best friend, Jennifer. "How's the dream fund looking?" "Almost there, you?" "Same, just a tad short, but getting closer." We met in high school, bonded over the hilarious similarity of our names. "Hey, don't you think our names sound alike?" "Really? I hadn't noticed." And then discovered we shared the same burning desire. Since then, we've been each other's hype squad, pushing each other closer to our vision. Every month, checking the dream savings account was a mini celebration. Watching the numbers climb fueled our excitement. Then one day, my heart lurched into my throat. A gaping hole of $5,000 in the account. Only 2 people knew about this account, Steve and Jennifer, and only Steve had access to the debit card. I practically sprinted home. The image of Steve lounging on the couch burned into my memory. "Did you take money from the dream fund?" blurted out before I could even process the anger bubbling inside. His nonchalant, "Yeah, borrowed of it," only fanned the flames. "Borrowed? You know how hard I've been working for this." His dismissive, "Don't worry, I'll pay you back," did nothing to soothe the growing inferno betrayal in my gut. Lately, Steve's support for my dream had morphed into something unrecognizable. I guess comments like, "Isn't it a bit late for chasing rainbows?" started peppering our conversations. He even suggested I focus on contributing to his younger self, whatever that meant. "You used to be my cheerleader." Choked out, reminding him of the supportive partner he once was. "Honey, it's all the same pot anyway, right?" he shrugged, dismissing the seriousness of the situation. This financial gaslighting only added fuel to the fire. "I bust my butt to pay all the bills, and you have the audacity to complain about using our money." My frustration boiled over. The truth was, Steve's career was stagnating. While I kept climbing the corporate ladder, his performance reviews were lackluster. He even blamed me, his former mentor, for his shortcomings. That was years ago. I countered, but arguing with Steve was a losing battle. He'd sulk and withdraw, leaving me to apologize, a pattern that had become all too familiar. This time, though, the apology wouldn't come. Furious and heartbroken, I reached out to Jennifer. "Hey Jen, so sorry, but our savings plan is on hold." "Steve," I trailed off, guilt gnawing at me. "Jennifer, ever the voice of reason, let out a comforting laugh. Don't sweat it, Jess. We were so close anyway. A heavy sigh escaped my lips, and even through the phone, Jennifer sensed my despair. Happiness doesn't come from pouting, she teased. Unlike me, you're married. Some things are just out of your control. $5,000 isn't some things, Jen, I insisted. Thank goodness for the separate savings account. We strategized how to navigate the situation with Steve, a newfound determination coursing through me. Little did I know, my world was about to take a drastic turn. Lost in thought, reviewing a sales contract as I crossed the street, a screech pierced the air. A car, oblivious to the red light, barreled towards me. Engrossed in my problems, I reacted too late. The impact sent my body flying, pain engulfing me as concerned voices and the screech of fleeing tires faded into oblivion. A blurry voice, laced with panic, yanked me back from the darkness. Jessica, Jessica, Jennifer's here. Don't worry, I'm getting the doctor. It was Jennifer, her voice thick with unshed tears. I strained to open my eyes, but everything remained stubbornly black. Panic clawed at me as I realized I couldn't move my legs either. The doctor's words, when they came, were a hammer blow. The accident damaged your eyes and paralyzed your lower body. Blind and in a wheelchair, a life sentence that stole the air from my lungs. My dream, so close at hand, was now a cruel mirage. Despair threatened to drown me, but Jennifer wouldn't let go. We'll figure this out, Jess. I'll work twice as hard, make our dream come true for you. Don't you give up. Her unwavering support was a lifeline in the storm. Then Steve appeared, drawn by the news of my awakening. His presence, even with my sight gone, offered a flicker of comfort during those early, difficult days. I clung to the kindness of both of them. But that, as they say, was just the beginning. The visits from Jennifer stopped abruptly. My calls went unanswered. The silence was deafening. And Steve, initially attentive, became increasingly withdrawn. His visits grew shorter, punctuated only by the rhythmic tapping of his phone. Hey Steve, I try, how's work? His response, a curt, don't worry about it, was a knife to the heart. The weight of their absence crushed me. Jennifer, entrusted with the dream account, a secret haven from Steve, had vanished. Was the money gone? Was Steve's concern a facade? Doubt gnawed at me, leaving me a prisoner of my own suspicions. Alone in the sterile hospital room, tears became my only companions. Discharged from the hospital, a knot of apprehension tightened in my stomach as I returned home. Steve's words, "Don't worry, I'm here for you," offered a sliver of comfort, but something felt amiss. The familiar route from the hospital stretched on far longer than it should. "Steve, where are we going?" I ventured, my voice laced with unease. "Just a quick detour," he hummed, a hint of forced cheer in his tone. "A place you might enjoy, even without sight. It's connected to your dream." My dream. It was a connection to Jennifer, the friend who vowed to chase our shared goal in my absence. "Steve," I choked out, a tremor in my voice. "Did you hear from Jennifer?" "There's something you need to know, Jessica," Steve began, his voice dropping to a low murmur. "About Jennifer." A bomb dropped in my lap. Steve revealed Jennifer's supposed betrayal, her disappearance with the dream savings account. My world tilted on its axis. Grief and betrayal warred within me, leaving me numb. "I've been searching for her, trying to get everything back," Steve continued, the tapping of his phone a constant rhythm in the tense silence. "I may not have been the best at showing it, but I was looking out for you." Was I? A sliver of doubt crept in, quickly swallowed by the relief of a supposed ally. "We'll find her together, Steve," I declared, a flicker of determination returning. We drove on, the silence punctuated only by the rhythmic tapping and the growing unease gnawing at the edges of my mind. Finally, the car lurched to a stop, "We're here," Steve announced, his voice devoid of its earlier warmth. With practiced ease, he helped me out of the car and into the unknown. "Where are we?" I questioned, the sterile silence of the empty space sending shivers down my spine. "No one's here, Steve." A chilling silence followed. Steve's comforting presence vanished. Panic clawed at my throat. "Steve?" I called out, my voice echoing eerily in the emptiness. A familiar voice, laced with a cruel amusement, shattered the silence. "Taking care of things is a hassle, and you live here." The click of a closing door and the fading sound of his retreating footsteps confirmed my worst fears. I was trapped, alone, and at the mercy of the man I thought was my anchor. Tears streamed down my face as the enormity of the situation crashed over me. But just as despair threatened to consume me, a twist of fate intervened. The creak of the door heralded Jennifer's arrival, a warm wave washing over me as she enveloped me in a hug. "Jessica, I'm so sorry." Her voice trembled, and a dampness spread across my right shoulder. Was she crying? Why was she here? What was going on? "Don't worry, everything's going to be all right now." I tried to ask, but my questions were swallowed by her comforting embrace. Jennifer whisked me away, taking charge of the situation. 3 days later, a news report about a local store drifted from the TV. "Hey, what's this?" I asked, confused. The door slammed open with a bang, followed by the voice I loathed most. Well, Jessica," Steve drawled. "Look who decided to grace us with their presence." "Are you okay?" "Yes, of course," I replied, my voice firm despite the turmoil within. "And I have a few things to say as well." Steve seemed flustered by my assertiveness. "Jennifer and I were ready to confront Hamoud. Are you even here?" Steve sputtered. "Because Jennifer saved me, obviously," I countered. It turned out Jennifer had anticipated my predicament and had been waiting nearby the abandoned house. As soon as Steve left, she emerged, a hero in disguise. "Don't play dumb, Jennifer," Steve scoffed. "You betrayed Jessica." Jennifer's gaze turned steely. "Actually, Steve," she corrected, "I betrayed you." The truth unfolded. After the accident, Steve had approached Jennifer, his concern tinged with something more opportunistic. Jennifer, however, grew suspicious of his sudden affection. "It dawned on me," she explained, "you were after Jessica's savings, and probably mine too." She saw right through his scheme. "Cutting you loose might have been simple," Jennifer continued, "but I feared you might hurt Jessica. So I played along with your charade." Steve froze, caught off guard. Jennifer had masterfully emptied her own account and handed Steve a dud, gaining his trust and ensuring he wouldn't touch Jessica's savings. Her quick thinking was a stroke of genius. Jennifer even used Steve's greed against him. "Leave her in that deserted house," she'd suggested, "and no one will find her. Everyone will assume she disappeared." She played him like a fiddle. Steve, completely fooled, relocated me to the vacant house, leaving me none the wiser. Jennifer then swooped in, rescuing me from my unwitting prison. "You're not the brightest bulb," Jennifer remarked coolly, "but your simplicity helped us achieve our dream, opening a traditional cafe." "That's right, Steve. That's been our dream all along." Jennifer had transformed the abandoned house, and yesterday, our cafe doors finally swung open. We even received live TV coverage before the news report I'd overheard. Steve must have seen it on television and rushed over, his carefully constructed facade crumbling. "This can't be," he sputtered, disbelief etched on his face. "I can't believe I fell for it." Just as Steve was unraveling, a group entered the cafe. Jennifer, with a wink, informed me they were the police she'd called. Relief washed over me. "We need to speak with Ms. Jessica Brown," the officer announced. "I haven't done anything wrong," I exclaimed, a touch of fear creeping in. "Actually," the officer replied, holding up a file, This may be evidence to the contrary. Thank you for your cooperation." Steve was escorted out, his shouts echoing through the cafe. I ignored him. Relief turned to a heavy silence with Steve gone. "Jessica, what's wrong?" Jennifer asked softly. They give me a moment. Tears welled up in my eyes. We'd finally opened our dream cafe, a haven of warmth and comfort. Yet, the ordeal had left its mark. Managing the cafe felt daunting, and I worried I was a burden on Jennifer. Even with the initial buzz from the news coverage, I feared customers wouldn't stay. My anxiety spiraled, and the tears wouldn't stop. "There's still hope, Jessica," Jennifer said gently. "Maybe you can still see." Following the accident, I had undergone eye surgery and was now wearing an eye patch. The doctor had warned of potential blindness, and even if not, significantly reduced vision. Weakened by the accident and the emotional turmoil, I clung to the fear, refusing to remove the patch. "Remember," she continued, "we kept our promise. We made our dream a one quiet day. With the cafe closed, Jennifer whisked me away to the hospital. The moment the doctor lifted my eye patch, a sliver of light pierced the darkness. With the right pair of glasses, they assured me I could truly see again." Jennifer's joy radiated, as if she'd regained her own sight. Although my vision wasn't perfect, a spark of determination ignited within me. I would see again, properly. Following the doctor's advice, I filed for divorce from Steve. Thanks to Jennifer's tireless investigation, his true colors were revealed. Turns out, Steve had been cheating on me with a younger coworker, the same woman who had recklessly caused the accident. They were both apprehended and forced to face the consequences of their actions, including a hefty compensation payout to me. "No one messes with my best friend and gets away with it," Jennifer declared, her voice tight with anger. I reached for her hand, offering silent comfort. During a candid interview about the cafe's opening, I had inadvertently revealed how Steve had abandoned me. Needless to say, he was promptly fired. His future held nothing but bitter regrets. My world, on the other hand, was blossoming. The compensation allowed me to invest in high-quality glasses, significantly improving my vision. While still wheelchair-bound, my capabilities had expanded. The beautiful handicrafts adorning our shelves, those were my creations, a testament to my unwavering spirit. Customers loved them, further contributing to the cafe's success. Just when Steve faded into a distant memory, he reappeared at the cafe moments before opening. He groveled, begging for forgiveness, but we completely ignored him. The hum of preparation continued uninterrupted. One customer, recognizing Steve for the scoundrel he was, confronted him. "Hey, aren't you the guy who left his wife for dead? This isn't the place for your theatrics." Steve slunk away, defeated. A silent thank you went out to Peter, the customer who had intervened. He was a regular, the same cameraman from the TV interview, and a loyal friend. "My treat on drinks today, everyone," I announced with a smile. "Can't wait," came the enthusiastic reply. Jennifer's knowing smile confirmed my suspicion, a budding romance between Peter and me. Looking back, I couldn't regret taking a chance on that interview. Now, the focus was on safeguarding our haven and ensuring Steve never darkened our doorstep again. Jennifer offered to recommend a lawyer. "Thank you," I replied, "but my time is better spent serving our amazing customers." Steve was a mere blip in the rearview mirror now. With Jennifer and the warmth of the cafe around me, I plunged back into work, a renewed sense of purpose guiding my every step. A radiant smile bloomed on my face as I read a letter, a testament to the inspiration my story had become for others. "What wonderful news?" Peter inquired, his eyes twinkling. "Something truly special," I replied, the warmth spreading through me. "You have the most beautiful smile, Jessica," he confessed, his voice dropping a touch. A blush crept up my cheeks. Truth be told, I felt a similar pull towards him. But then reality, the limitations of my condition, loomed. When I confided in him, his response was immediate and unwavering. It didn't matter. Still, I needed time to process everything. Your happiness is all that matters, he said gently. Take all the time you need, and know there will be no regrets on my end. Life, meanwhile, was a sweet symphony. Steve, on the other hand, faced the harsh melody of his own making. He'd landed a job, a far cry from his previous one, with long hours and meager pay. To top it off, his ex-mistress's family was seeking retribution for his misdeeds. Apparently, they held him accountable for leading their daughter astray. Distant well wishes are all he deserves. I thought, a flicker of steel in my resolve. The lawyer Jennifer had recommended did a stellar job. Steve's attempts to exploit me were firmly shut down. Karma's a dish best served cold, Jennifer muttered after reviewing the legalities. I couldn't agree more. Fast forward, and Peter and I exchanged vows. His acceptance of everything, my limitations, and all, was the foundation of our love. Jennifer, overcome with joy, celebrated our union. However, her own love story surprised me. Turns out she couldn't afford the vacant house alone. But there was someone special, the one who'd not only helped her purchase it, but also transformed it into the calf of our dreams. They'd harbored feelings for each other, hesitant due to the age gap. Inspired by Peter and me, they took the leap and decided to get married. It's all thanks to you, Jessica. Jennifer beamed. No, Jennifer. I countered. The gratitude flows both ways. Without you by my side, this happiness wouldn't exist. Honestly, facing life alone might have broken me. You were my rock, and I'll never forget that. Jennifer squeezed my hand gently. Of course I'll always be here, she replied. Besides, it's payback time. My head tilted in confusion. Remember when we were in middle school? She continued, a hint of vulnerability in her voice. I was isolated back then. A wave of realization washed over me. Jennifer had been the shy girl in middle school, the one I'd befriended in high school, the one who had become my closest confidant. You helped me believe in my dreams, she finished, her voice thick with emotion. Tears welled up in my eyes. This bond, forged in the fires of hardship, was more precious than ever. It was a friendship I vowed to cherish forever. Thanks for watching and being part of this storytelling adventure. Click the subscribe button to support our storytelling channel.